Rietz. Tom Rietz will explain the electronic markets. He's professor of finance and the Leonard Hadley Research Fellow at the Tippie College of Business at the University of Iowa, director of the MBA Finance Career Academy. And may I tell you that Financial Times has voted this department the 6th best in the world. So that's why we're working with them. He's a member of the Iowa Electronics Market Steering Committee. He's got his PhD in economics at the University of Iowa with Northwestern University faculty from 1988 to 1993. So I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Thomas Rietz.
Okay, I was asked to be brief. I'll try to do that. You know, my wife was actually shocked that I was coming out to talk to an electrical engineering group. Then she said, well, you know, bring me back some joules. Yes. What I want to talk to you about very, very briefly is a little predictive mechanism that we've been running at the University of Iowa for about 25 years called a prediction market. We started running this to try and aggregate diverse sources of information. It has become what is effectively a communication and information aggregation tool. We started this with political markets, and that's what our biggest area is, but we've also done this in a variety of different ways. All we do is we take a futures contract. Now, not a contract for oil, but as you know, a contract for oil does tell you something about the likely future price of oil. What we do is we design a contract that maximizes the information value of the price of the futures contract by tying it directly to some event of interest in the future. Our biggest event of interest has been political markets. Who's going to win the next election? What kind of a share of vote will they get? So when Obama ran against Romney, we had contracts that said, if you own this contract, after the election and Romney wins, you'll get $1. If you own another contract and Obama wins, you'll get $1. What happens is that contract can trade among people that might disagree over who's going to win. And ultimately, in the price that they set tells you sort of an aggregate of their expectations about who's going to win. And it does it in a very, very interesting and sophisticated way through the price discovery process. We've been very good at predicting election outcomes over the 25 plus years that we've been doing this. We've also expanded it to predict federal funds rates, economic indicators like consumer price indexes, stock prices, returns, corporate earnings, movie box office takes, where hurricanes will strike land, the values of initial public offerings, and the one that's most similar to what we're proposing today, the outbreaks of influenza. It is a market that's very similar to what we're going to talk about today, a private market where we go out and we try and identify people that have information. In this case, what we'll be looking at is identifying people that have information. Did I just go through 2 there? I think so. There we go. What we want to do is we want to invite people that have information about potential new energy technologies to trade in the market. Give them an account, allow them to buy and sell futures contracts where we tie the value of the futures contract to some emerging energy technology question of interest. We'll give you an example here in a couple of minutes. We'll run an exchange, the background that buys and sells, trades these contracts between traders. We'll allow traders to actually turn their dollars into contracts as they see fit, buy and sell them as they see fit. The market provides a mechanism to share information, to aggregate information, for communication, provides an incentive to interest students in trading, interest students in topics related to the energy technology, and provides an incentive to create information, because the better information you have, the more valuable your trading becomes. The markets provide feedback to us and the traders about what technologies may or may not succeed. The market filters out biases. People who are very biased tend to buy something or sell something and then stop trading. And it makes the accounts of people that are good at forecasting better, higher, larger, so they have more power in the market to set the price. And the people that aren't very good at forecasting, well, they lose money and they don't end up setting prices anymore. So what we thought we could do is identify through the REACH Consortium, guest trading teams is what we're looking at now, that have information about energy technologies. allow them to buy and sell contracts in the market on questions of interest. Here is the most difficult and challenging part for us. We need to find questions where we can get a market together that will interest traders. We need short horizons, a year, maybe two. We need well-defined outcomes. How do you determine if somebody wins an election is easy. How do you determine if an energy technology is successful? It's a little bit more challenging. We'd like to find questions that are economically important and meaningful to people that are trying to get electricity more cheaply in the Virgin Islands, or create solutions to pollution problems, like in North Dakota that we'll talk about in a second, where information is dispersed and we need a way to communicate and aggregate that information. We'll use the market to do that. Where there's some information flow out there. If there's no information out in the world, we can't aggregate it very well. And we need something that's of interest to traders. We need something that will capture their attention, that they'll want to try and buy and sell futures contracts on. This turns out to be the biggest challenge. One of the things we hope is that folks that are involved will suggest ideas for questions, and then we can work through a whole list to see what few actually work very well as a market for predictive technology. Okay, the first one we've come up with is the Bakken oil fields. One of the big questions is how we reduce all the flared gas. You can see in the picture that that's about the size of Dallas-Fort Worth up there. We know that there's a lot of competing technologies, and the Department of Minerals and Resources in North Dakota has put a mandate on that all new wells have a gas capture technology. The question will be what works. Of course, you can always attach to a pipeline, but there's a variety of other competing technologies that may solve the problem. So our first goal is to put together a prototype market. We're proposing a one-year proof of concept that will run futures contracts based upon whether we can solve this problem, and if so, how. And then if we get long-run funding, we propose to continue running markets in various other areas of interest. So I'll be happy to answer any questions if folks have. The time is up, and we will